Hey everyone, thank you and welcome back to a brand new episode of Coffee with a Beauty Reviewer. And today, folks, is a additional video that is actually from my DCEU Review Series. It's not in the DCEU, but it's a very revered DC movie out there. And you know what I'm talking about, The Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. Because I need to tell you that Joaquin Phoenix sounds too much like he's walking to Phoenix. That's what it sounds like. But all jokes aside, this is a really great movie and it stars Joaquin Phoenix. So, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video and let's get started with today's video. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching my channel, and please like and comment down below, and please subscribe to my channel as it really helps me out, and let's get started with today's video. So the movie stars Joaquin Phoenix, and I just got to tell you right off the bat is that this movie it's a very unique take on the Joker, because ever since I heard that Joaquin Phoenix is going to team him up with the guy that gave us the Hangover series, I can't remember the director's name, but I just heard that it was being directed by that guy, starring Joaquin Phoenix. And my first thought was, why? Why are you going to do a movie like this? Because I've always loved the character of the Joker, because when you do a movie like this, you kind of run the risk of potentially ruining a character. But oh my gosh, both the director and Joaquin Phoenix proved me wrong with this movie, because it is such an incredible masterpiece that to this day I would still consider this one to be among like at least the top 5 DC movies ever made in regards to cinematography, to the score, the acting, the direction, just everything that was used to make this movie. And just hearing that this movie actually had a very small budget to make, it just makes it feel more grounded. And I don't know why, but this one, it really reminded me a lot of Logan in so many ways, because this movie is kind of like a somber, kind of a bleak movie. I mean, you know where things are going to go in a certain way. Like, you knew that things were going to go to hell with this movie, but you just didn't know what was going to happen that would lead to hell. They give you so much depth. They give you so much juice into this movie. And then when you get to about like the midway section, you go like, oh, okay. So like everything that we learned from the first scene up to that point, you still have no idea about the Joker's origin, because in a weird way, it feels like that we're watching kind of like what this world will look like through the mind of the Joker. So it really feels like that they kind of did, this is just my theory, because I feel like that they did kind of like an Inception way of this movie, because it feels like that they're just trying to mess with your mind, make you think, okay, what is reality? What is made up by the Joker? Because the Joker himself, he is the Prince of Chaos. He is the Prince of Crime. This is a character that you don't want to root for. But with this guy, Joaquin Phoenix Joker, there's just something about the guy that you just feel so sad for him. You feel just so sad. Like, you just go like, please don't become the Joker. You're too much of a nice guy. But then you just see him go mad. You just see him snap. Like, you know it's gonna happen. But at the same time, you're going like, this is a movie that really pushes your own mindset, because it just really makes you question your own morality. Because it made me question myself as well, because when I walked out of Avengers Endgame, I felt happy. I felt sad for the death of Iron Man. But with this movie, this is a movie that has actually made me think for at least 2 weeks after I saw it.
So it's one of those movies that really makes you think more about the concept of movie making, especially when it comes to a movie like this. But either way, I just feel like that this is a very unique take on a villain that we all know that he's completely mad, way too violent. He's the crown prince of crime, the Joker. Like, what do you expect? It's a freaking movie about the Joker. And that's the very thing that just really annoyed me so much about the people that is saying, this movie is going to be so violent, it's going to bring up a big uprising. And I'm like, dude, come on. It's a freaking movie about the Joker. What do you expect? It's a movie about the Joker. He is by far one of the most evil comic book characters of all time. And you think he's going to be all like Superman? No! This is a movie about a guy who is about to become one of the most evilest characters in all of fiction. But for that very reason, that's the reason why I liked this movie, is because that they just pushed the envelope they pushed some boundaries, because when it comes to movie making, you sometimes need to take risks. And when you take risks, such as like taking a pay cut, which is actually what the director did. I mean, like because the budget for this movie was so small in comparison when you look to like the likes of like Justice League, Avengers, because those movies, they costed up to more than $300 million to make. But with this movie, it costed less than $100 million. So in Hollywood standards, that is peanuts. But the fact is that with such a smaller budget, it just resulted in such a big impression on you. It just really made you feel so somber. It made you think. It made you wonder how you feel about this world that they built into this movie, because like you even see the characters that is actually Batman's mother and father, and you're kind of seeing what is going on with them, because they are considered to be kind of like the villains into this movie, because that's where I'm kind of thinking that maybe we were watching a movie as if like we were seeing it through the eyes of the Joker, because maybe he only received it in a way that he would, because he's completely mad, he's batcrap crazy. But there's just something about this movie that it's such a unique art form. And you can definitely tell that it really does pay homage to two very iconic movies back in their time. And these were actually considered controversial movies as well, because a lot of people are going like, these movies are going to spark a big uprising of violence, but here we are again. It just roots back to this whole thing that I really think that it's a bunch of crap that a lot of people think that movies and video games is going to spark a lot of violence. I mean, yeah, there might be a couple bad apples that some people might take something like that seriously and actually might commit some acts of violence, and I'm not for that. I do not like violence. Violence in real life is a big no-no. But the thing is that when you make a movie, you need to bring in an art that is actually going to showcase some violence. You need to tell a story. You need to convey characters, because this is just a made-up world. So you need to get creative when you do filmmaking, especially for a character like this, that you need to understand where the direction is coming from. But either way, I really think that the character of Arthur Fleck, and just kind of like his uprise, where he went from being like this guy who actually has a condition that he has uncontrollable laughter, and he has a card that is actually given to him by his doctor that he needs to hand it to someone if they're going and all like, do you have a problem with us? And then they were going like, oh, you laugh uncontrollably. Ugh, I'm sorry. And so like, I have never thought that something like that would be put into a movie. That was just brilliant. I never would have thought that like a way that the Joker would laugh is actually a condition, and it's actually been proven that this is an actual condition in real life. Something that you actually need to take seriously, especially if you meet someone like that. But just the way that they just kind of like fleshed out Arthur Fleck's character, especially that he comes from a life of mental dysfunction. And like I said before, is that this is the Crown Prince of Crime. This is the Joker. And in the comic book line, he actually says that everyone has an origin, but I would actually rather have my origin to be multiple choice. And that is exactly what they conveyed to this movie, because when it came down to the revelation that his mother is actually not his mother, so you really have no idea who he really is. You don't even know if Arthur Fleck used to be his name, because we really have no idea who he is by the end. Because that was the main concern that I had with this movie, but they just made me go like, wait, he is Batman's half-brother? And I'm like, no, no, that's not gonna work. But then when they showed that his mother is crazy, he's crazy, and that Thomas Wayne didn't shack up with his mom, I'm going like, oh, thank God. But either way, this movie just makes you think a lot. There's such a great, incredible art. It takes a lot of inspiration from Taxi Driver, and it also takes a lot from the king of comedy. Then it actually does have the actor that was in those movies, Robert De Niro, where he plays the role as this talk show host. And he's actually one of the very few people that is actually killed by the Joker. And so it brings out kind of like this shocking moment of when it comes to the violence, because when you look at this movie, it's not that violent. I mean, like, when you compare this to Deadpool, this movie is hardly anything that, like, there is very little violence in comparison to Deadpool, because Deadpool is a lot more violent than this movie. But either way, this is just a very unique take of the Joker, a very unique movie all around, and it just makes you think, it makes you wonder. It is one of those movies that you will never forget after you see it. This is a very slow burn movie, and I think that's the only reason why that I might give it this ranking. It's a slow burn movie, but it's a very good, entertaining slow burn movie. It's doing a build up from a sad man to become the very Prince of Crime, the Prince of Chaos, the Joker. And this is what I absolutely love about the movie, is that they really showcased, probably in my opinion, the best Joker acting I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I love Heath Ledger's Joker. I love Jack Nicholson's Joker. And I did appreciate Jared Leto's second chance as the Joker in Zack Snyder's Justice League. But this one is the best Joker in my opinion. So, with that out of the way, I just have to say that this is definitely a real character study. I've said that word so many times with a lot of other movies, but this is a real character study to a teeth. And this is just a film that kept me on my toes. It just made me go like, you were just rooting for this guy not to become the Joker, but you know that he's gonna become the Joker. He's menacing. He is crazy. He is the Joker. But I would say that it's just barely more than Heath Ledger, just only because that we actually got to see more of him than we did with Heath Ledger's Joker. I think it's just because that he just really fleshed out his character. Like, he told the story of the Joker. I mean, we did get some of that with The Dark Knight, but not as much as we did with this. And I think that's the very reason why that I would consider the Joker portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix to be the best I've ever seen. And so, with my ranking, I gave this movie a 9.6. So that was my review for the movie Joker. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching my video. And like I said before, is that yes, I'm diagnosed autistic, but you know what? There's always an upside for being autistic. And I just want to tell you is that being autistic, it's not a disability. It's a privilege. And so let's keep on spreading the word. And just like always, I always love enjoying my coffee that I have on this channel. And lately I've been drinking some Tollies, and hopefully very soon I'm gonna get a new brand of coffee, and hopefully it's delicious, and I'll tell you what brand it is after I'm done drinking it, and I'll tell you how I feel about it, and if I like it, I'll let you all know. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.